Hey everyone, we will get started here in just a minute talking about how to position your firm for growth and development in the current environment. I will let the attendee number climb a little bit and then we will go ahead and get started. Okay, as a reminder, questions go in Q&A and I will facilitate a Q&A session at the very end of the webinar today. Any sort of ideas, thoughts, contributions can go in the webinar chat feature. Just please make sure to send it to all panelists and attendees so everyone can see your message. And with that, as a reminder, it will be recorded and posted to the recorded webinar section of the member forums shortly after the presentation today. So it looks like we have 13 participants on the line now. And with that, let's go ahead and get started today.
Wonderful. Hey, everyone. Cameo Roberson here. Just want to thank Emily and the XY planning team for allowing me to come and share with you all today about how to position your firm for growth and development in the current environment. Super excited to be here today and really sharing tips on what advisors can do to continue to grow and develop during these crazy times. So as we go through the presentation, I am going to shut my camera off so that we can pay attention to the slides here, and let's dig right in. So a little bit about me. I got my start in the industry working in client services and operations for 3 different RIAs in the San Francisco Bay Area. Literally, I wore all of the hats from operations, client service, management, leadership, marketing, trading, what else? Monitoring accounts, open accounts, money movements, you name it. I was really involved in some capacity. And what this did is it gave me a great window to see how advisory firms are managed as well as operated. Several years ago, after not really getting a chance to grow in the firms that I was at, I decided I wanted to leverage my background in operations and client service to build a dual platform. So Atlas Park Consulting and Finance serves a wider group of both advisors and women looking to start their own businesses. So I manage Atlas Park Finance. Atlas Park Finance is my boutique subscription-based RIA, where I focus on women and really helping them find their business success story through entrepreneurship. And what we focus on is business strategy assistance and how to prepare their personal finances for business ownership. So through the Atlas Park Consulting platform, which is primarily focused on key practice management disciplines for firms ranging in size really from solo practitioners upwards of about 20 or more people. And really, regardless of size, firms who want to build a sustainable firm for the long term will really benefit from having direction throughout these 6 key areas. You know, really asking yourself, what type of firm are you building? Aligning your business objectives with goals to stay in line with your firm vision so you know where you're going. You got to have a plan to get clients. You got to figure out how to run efficiently, which as you grow, some of you probably are already experiencing this, only gets more complicated. You got to figure out how to leverage technology well as empowering your human talent to take your firm to the next level. So with that, and as you think about your own firm, I'm sure the current pandemic has you thinking differently about what you've built and really how you've built it. We've all been watching the news, and this medical crisis has really exposed the operational cracks across multiple industries and not just financial services. And in my opinion, it's actually a good time to really reevaluate and reassess where you and your firm are and how best to proceed moving forward. So asking yourself questions like, how can I improve the delivery of my services? How can I find new ways to provide value to my clients? How can I strategically grow my client base? as well as virtually optimizing your business model. Because the truth is, once quarantine is over and the government tells us it's okay to go back outside, I really don't see a lot of people rushing to in-person meetings anytime soon. So you really want to think about, is your business leveraged to operate virtually? So today's presentation is going to provide a top-down view of how you can think about reimagining your firm infrastructure and how to do business better despite COVID. So in my opinion, and I've been doing a lot of research in this area, is what actually remains certain, even in uncertain times in respect to your practice, is that how you do business should always be a consideration. And spending time to work on your business can provide both opportunities to serve your clients better and be in a position to pivot or adjust if any significant business disruptors happen, and being able to really optimize the way you do business. So today's agenda, we're going to cover building and growing in uncertain times, the business life cycle, what you should be focusing on, business development and virtual networking, building COI relationships through LinkedIn, great opportunities there, optimizing your client experience, and then better leverage your tech buckets. And we'll have some time at the end for Q&A. So as an advisor, what are you concerned about? We have double duty. You got the concerns of your clients and concerns about the long-term viability of your practice during this time. As I've been chatting with colleagues and doing research and looking at things online, what's happening in the news, advisors have a variety of concerns that cover those practice management categories that I touched on a little bit earlier. You may be handling an influx of clients right now. We know that because of all the volatility going on in the market and individuals are seeking out financial advisors, you may be growing by leaps and bounds and wondering, are my systems ready? Or prospecting post-COVID, running a virtual office and virtual meetings, figuring out how to cut costs and rethinking how to actually run your business, or realizing that a lot of us just took a pay cut with the volatility in the market that's going to be showing up at the end of Q2 for those with an AUM model. So it's probably safe to say that a recession is possibly looming, and really the next few quarters are going to pose kind of a difficult business challenge. So just like you tell your clients, figuring out ways to navigate this new terrain will be really important. For example, I mentioned being virtually optimized. And so working from home has highlighted that the need for traditional office space may decrease. And that can actually produce some cost savings as well as faster ways to deliver client service. You may realize that you can downsize. I was talking with an advisor colleague just the other day, and he realized that he can now work from home. Team members can work from home. And so this corporate office space that they have, they're really thinking about downsizing. So that's a reality. As well as the rules of engagement with business associates, clients, and prospects has been disrupted. And we don't know how long it's going to be, but I really feel like this is an opportunity to really build and strengthen relationships. So the expected impact of the coronavirus on key practice metrics in the next 6 months. This resource was from a report that I read from Practical Perspectives, which is a resource for helping to solve problems within the asset management industry, and really provided some insight and direction for advisors in how they're responding to the challenge of the coronavirus and how it will impact key practice metrics during the next 6 months. So you can see that most advisors, about 45%, are anticipating a positive impact on growth and new clients served, 38% positive impact on the retention of existing clients, and the same 38% feel really positive in their overall ability to effectively serve clients. Not really a surprise here, as these same advisors expect a negative impact on overall revenues and the profitability of their practices. So the question becomes, what can firms do to begin to counteract this? In a recent study, and this kind of goes back to the fact that individuals, especially those who were DIYers for a long time, managing their own portfolios, realizing with all of this volatility that they need an expert. They need to work with a financial advisor, a financial planner, because it's clear that these people feel a lack of control and need more guidance. So my question to you all today is, how are you reaching them? How are they finding you? And we'll talk a little bit about that more when we get to the business development portion of our presentation today. So let's talk a little bit about business strategy and planning. It's really important to know where you're going so that when you get there, you know that you've arrived, as well as being able to track your progress and making sure you're going in the right direction. So I thought it might be helpful to show a chart detailing the business life cycle for firms that are grappling with how to build a better business. What can I do to make my practice better? How can I get more efficient at how I'm delivering my service? So these 4 cycles, early stage, growth, maturity, and transition. As I thought about this, you know, the time horizon for moving through these phases is really different for each firm, but the process can be a fairly consistent experience from point A, from point A to point B, really. And when this actually happens is going to depend on the firm leadership and your firm vision and what type of practice you ultimately want to build. So as you can see, depending on where you fall in this life cycle, there's going to be certain areas of your practice that development is going to flow from one priority to the next. And those 4 areas are listed. There's the managing your practice, empowering your team, optimizing operations, and marketing your business. So for example, early stage firms are going to really start out with a smaller focus on managing their practice and empowering their teams. If you're finding yourself in, if you're a growth firm, they've built strategies to manage their practice, and really empowering their teams becomes critical. You're growing, you have more clients, you have more workload, and so you really need to empower your people to make sure that they're doing everything that they can for you, as well as a focus on optimizing your operations as you seek to grow and move to scaled marketing, which is at the top tier of the next business cycle, which is the maturity phase. So as you can see, you know, firms in transition at the very end, the emphasis on each area, as you can see, begins to shift and the priorities start to change. So understanding these key areas of development and their strengths and struggles, we're going to talk about that in a little bit, can help you understand where your firm is in the context of overall development. This is going to help you prepare to make key decisions about what steps to take moving forward. You know, a lot of times we get caught up in our business planning or lack of planning, and there's so many different paths that we can take, and they all seem to be great. They all seem to make a whole lot of sense. But unless you're able to take those business decisions and bring them back to the context of your full vision, then you run the chance of moving in directions that don't support your revenue goals, don't support your productivity goals, and really don't support you moving in the direction that you want your firm to go. So all of this is going to really provide the best context for how to best advance and move in the direction that you want to go in. So let's talk a little bit about the deeper stages of early stage and growth. So early stage, is this you? Some characteristics, it's an early practice. A lot of times a newer advisor, maybe a solo practitioner or a newly formed ensemble. The approach here is that it's really largely run by advisor instinct. We just kind of do what we do and we get things done. We may not have a rhyme or reason, but we get things done. But there's really no plan to grow the firm. It's like, I'm doing business, I'm serving clients, and that's my focus right now. So the business driver here is the need to get clients, and fast. We all have bills to pay, right? The struggle of those in this early stage is that they haven't developed that business strategy or plan that I mentioned. Advisors are doing it all. You can't delegate. Systems and processes, if any, live in your head. You may or may not have staff, as well as little operational process. Your priority is got to attract new clients and keep revenue flowing. But how? How is someone in the early stage going to do this? So some ideas for the early stage firm include getting really clear on your vision and who you serve. What value are you bringing to individuals? What type of firm are you building? And then getting really, really clear on how you plan to market yourself as well as reach prospective clients. You got to keep revenue growing and flowing. Ways you can think about doing that, even in uncertain times, is diversifying your roads to client acquisition through social media. What is your current digital footprint? Those same individuals that I just mentioned earlier who are looking for financial advisors, can they find you online? Do you have a strong digital footprint in that they can see and experience you online before contacting you? Another way is to build relationships with COIs or centers of influence. And our LinkedIn training today is going to dig deeper into that. Or you can consider doing curated webinars for companies. This is actually something that I've been talking with a few advisors in my mastermind group, because you have all of these people who are worried about their 401ks. Companies are worried about their employees being able to continue to work well. There's so many different considerations. So think about what those individuals are having problems with today. Create curated webinars for those particular companies and pitch them. You would be really surprised. Being able to provide value to these companies could be something extremely valuable for you, not only as a business owner, but establishing relationships. And given the fact that everybody is literally online right now and watching webinars, this is a great time to think about doing that. So moving on into the growth mode. Characteristics here, your hard work has really paid off. You've put in the time, you've put in the energy, and your firm is growing. Approach here is you realize that you can't do this by yourself. And so having teammates, having staff in place to help you get things done is going to be really important. Business driver in the growth mode is you want to provide high quality service to a growing client base, improving your operational consistency, and really getting efficient in how you do business. The struggle here, blessing and a curse, you're growing, so guess what? You got more client meetings, more phone calls, more emails, more items to delegate, as well as staff issues or finding new staff if there's been any transition in your firm. Priorities here include delivering better service, attracting larger clients, making sure that your brand matches what those larger clients are actually looking for, as well as developing your people and processes to support scalable growth. And you might be wondering, how can we do that? How is that possible? So ideas for the growth firm, if you find yourself in this area, is really, if you understand that you know you can't do it all yourself, you really got to take time to develop your people. Your people should be really clear on their job descriptions, their roles and responsibilities, and their contributions to your firm to help take it to the next level. You also want to build a marketing strategy that goes beyond the brand of the founder. In those early days, starting out, we are our firm. And so everything that happens is a result of that firm owner. And so figuring out what your marketing strategy should be so that you could reach a wider demographic of clients and making sure that you can continue to grow your firm in the way that you want to, as well as client segmentation strategies. And so when you are growing, you're going to notice that you have clients that fall into certain buckets, whether that's your A client, your B client, or your C client. And so figuring out where all of your clients fall in each one of those categories so that you can make sure, one, you're continuing to deliver service appropriately for each client group, and making sure that everyone is being served fairly, but not equally given where they are in those client segmentation buckets. I'm sure a lot of you, even today, probably have clients who aren't really paying a whole lot in fees, but they're calling you all the time. They're always in your inbox. They're always wanting to meet with you. And so setting some parameters in place to control your time efficiency in making sure that your higher tier clients are getting access to you in a way that makes sense. So let's continue moving right along into business development. This is kind of the bread and butter of everything. And now that we've gone through the business life cycle and ideas for firms to think about, business development is the lifeline to your practice. This is how you are actually going to get clients. And so you want to make sure that you have a really strong strategy in order to do that. So connecting online and expanding your reach. This is information I got from a 2020 Investment News research survey. 40% of advisors use digital marketing products, which is up from just 32% last year. And I suspect this number is going to continue to increase. And so if you know that prospective clients are online and you're not taking the time to really invest in your digital marketing strategy, then you're really missing out on an opportunity to capitalize on reaching more clients in a wider range of area. As well as 74% of new clients who consider themselves, self-directed investors are really accustomed to using online information to inform their decisions. Before anyone calls you, they're going to Google you. They're going to look you up on LinkedIn. They're going to want to see, do you have a digital footprint established? Do you have content that speaks to them? So it's them experiencing you and your brand before they've even contacted you. So let's talk a little bit about LinkedIn for Business statistics. So this slide represents categories of professionals on the LinkedIn platform, with about 63 million being decision makers and approximately 90 million being senior level influencers out of a total of 630 million professionals on LinkedIn. So your ability to connect with these folks is unlimited, and that you can build a pathway to reach them. You got to have a strategy in order to do that. And you want to make sure you're spending your time well in these areas. So these individuals that I just mentioned, now, not all of them are going to be your direct clients or even your ideal clients, but they may be connected to your ideal client in one way or another. Either they work with them, neighbors, professional associations or organizations, nonprofit affiliation. So additionally, when you think about these people, you also want to think about other client advisors, right? Estate planning attorneys, insurance professionals, CPAs, right? Real estate attorneys. Guess what? They're all on LinkedIn as well. And so the opportunity then becomes, how can you begin to connect with these folks in a meaningful way to foster business development and professional relationships? Most, if not all, business owners are in the same spot right now. We're trying to figure out, how can we stay in business? How can we serve our clients well? And how can we continue to network to build relationships with other individuals? So let's talk a little bit about how you can actually do that. Excuse me. So this particular slide, virtual networking, building your LinkedIn strategy. Current conditions are not allowing us to meet in person anymore. We don't know really when that's going to happen. And you got to keep doing your business development, but how? So by leveraging virtual networking strategies on LinkedIn to expand your reach. And personally, I've been using these strategies since earlier this year and have increased my connections and followers by over 50%. So what that actually looks like for me is that I've received new business inquiries. I've gotten a chance for some speaking engagements, as well as more visibility of my content as a subject matter expert. I'm starting to build more relationships with key influencers and continuing to build both my brand and my reach. So let's talk a little bit about these 6 steps here to start networking on LinkedIn. So the first thing you want to do is, what are your objectives? What are you trying to achieve? Each social media platform, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, they all can have a different strategy, and I actually recommend using a different strategy for each one, whereas LinkedIn is great for professional connections. So the second thing you want to do is optimizing your profile. How many of you have seen profiles without a headshot and you're like, pass it up, not going to click on it because it seems a little spammy, right? So you want to have a good headshot that's clear, that shows you in a professional manner, hopefully not with a whole lot of distractions in the background or other people in the picture. Having a strong summary, which talks about you as the professional, what value you bring, as well as your professional work experience. Your LinkedIn banner, which is the area right above your profile picture, is prime real estate that you can use to highlight your professional experience as well as your brand. And then having a strong summary a strong summary as well. The third thing is building an active audience with quality content. So while you're on the platform, you're going to start receiving both inbound and sending outbound connection requests, which is a great way to build your network. Now, you don't necessarily have to connect with everyone, but as you start searching for different individuals on the platform, LinkedIn will actually show you very similar connections of people that you can connect with. And then the fourth step is finding COIs on LinkedIn, and using LinkedIn groups is a great way to get access to a high concentration of professionals in a particular industry, and you don't have to do very much searching. The fifth step here is crafting a connection message. You want to make sure that you're being thoughtful. Being authentic and non-salesy is key. Genuinely interested in what the other person does. You do not want to start selling right off the bat. Like, that's the worst thing you can do. I can remember getting, even now, I get LinkedIn messages and somebody's trying to sell me something right off the bat, and I just immediately delete it. So at the end of this presentation, there's going to be a link to get a more detailed training on how to further build out this strategy. And for those of you who are interested, you can go ahead and opt in directly, because it gets into the weeds in terms of how do you optimize these different areas of your LinkedIn profile. And really, as I think about it, I've found really a sincere openness from a lot of people who want to connect with others. You know, we're all online right now and we're in isolation, we're in quarantine, and it's really a great opportunity and a great time to build relationships and get your brand out there. So let's continue to move right along and talk a little bit about optimizing the client experience, and now is the time to provide value. So clients have become accustomed to interacting with you through technology, that's clear. And so the question becomes, what can you focus on to improve that experience and have a seamless working experience with them? So the way I look at firm technology is I look at it in 3 buckets, really. What's needed to produce and deliver financial plans, managing your workflow and your CRM, and a team, right? You got to manage the team, as well as firm management. So now is a great time to actually look at your existing tech and see what features aren't being used very well to improve the client experience. How many of us have software platforms where we really haven't looked at all of the features? We really don't know everything that the software is capable of doing. For example, maybe you're not using all of the features of your client portal. And this is an opportunity to really do a deep dive and see what features you're not currently using, which could actually enhance and improve your client experience. Maybe there's some reporting features in your financial planning software that can help you simplify the review process. I know that's one complaint that I get from a lot of my clients is, how do we make the financial plan shorter? Like, I don't want to, have 20 pages of data. How can we make it shorter, make it more efficient? This is a great time to see if there are some reporting features within that software that can help you do that. And additionally, invest time in training to learn what you have from the software providers directly. They have a number of resources, white papers, videos, webinars, different things that you can be doing during this time to really beef up and understand the tech that you do have. And the last thing is, don't be in a rush to buy the shiny bell in the window just because there are tons of software platforms out there for advisors. And I want to say on average, most people are probably using at least 8 to 10 different platforms. So instead of getting excited and going out and buying the latest bells and whistles, fully utilize what you have currently. Make sure you're using it to its highest and fullest ability. And then what you can do also in the process is recognize some cost savings, right? You're not going out and buying something that you may not even need. So now that we've talked a little bit about improving the client experience through technology, we've talked about business development, we've talked about business strategy and planning. When you bring everything back together, you really want to spend some time and focus on what's important to your clients. So one of the first things that's really important, even during this time, but I think this goes well beyond this time, is making sure that you're focusing on your clients' goals and they know that you're focused on them. Why? Because perception is everything. And so communicating to your clients and letting them know that you have their goals and their priorities top of mind, and then communicating that to them and showing them in tangible ways how you're focusing on their on their goals. Secondly, is you want to think about how you can make sure that you're delivering on the core expectations. All those things that you outlined in your client engagement letter that you said you would do, you want to make sure that you're delivering on all of those things for your clients. Make sure that you're always communicating your offer and your value. Clients have hired you for the expert professionals that you are, and so continue to show them how you provide value to them and how you have their best interest in mind concerning their finances. Always provide meaningful advice that's in line with your client's goals and objectives. Be open to hearing their thoughts about where they may want to do with their portfolio, but always bringing it back to their investment policy statement and their risk tolerance to remind them of what they decided to do with you when they first started working with you. The next is enhancing your reviews. I talked a little bit about finding new ways to deliver that financial plan with less pages, more succinct. Maybe there's some new reports that you can create that is going to help your clients better understand how their finances or how their financial picture is doing. And then the last piece here is going beyond just investments. People are stressed. We're stressed. We're going through a lot of different emotions and feelings. And so find ways to really connect with your clients in a way that goes beyond just the investments, just their portfolio. Contact them, call them, ask them how they're doing, ask them how their family members are doing, and always lead your calls with empathy and understanding for where they may be right now. And really, advisors who can deliver in this area, they're going to have a greater chance to have a much longer term positive impact on their clients and really establishing themselves as a true partner in helping their clients achieve their goals. So we've talked about a lot today, and I want to make sure that we have time for Q&A. And so I hope the information so far has been really helpful, and really in anything you do for your business, from a marketing plan, a client service plan, business development, you want to evaluate the landscape and define your strategy before you get out there. You want to think about seeking ways to provide value to clients. And the earlier slide talked about that, addressing what's most important. You want to start optimizing your social media strategy and start connecting with COIs who can become great referral sources to you. These individuals are looking to grow their connections as well. And you're not limited to location. Everything is location independent right now. And then don't stop working on your business. You know, in times of prosperity, we're not always focused in on how we're actually running our business because the markets are up, things are good. So this time, as well as it provides both challenges and opportunities to advisory firms, you have a choice to make. You can decide, you know, I want to continue to work on my business, continue to future-proof it so that if something does happen in the future, I'm prepared. Or figuring out new ways to provide value to your clients or even revenue streams for your business. That's another thing when you do spend the time to working on your business. As well as, you know, reach out if you need help, if you're not sure how to get started, because really the scope of practice management and figuring out an action plan, it's doable, right? But you need strategy and direction in order to get things done. I can help you, or I can connect you with other resources to help you with your business needs. And as you think about what direction you want your firm to go in, you as the business owner have the full capacity and ability to do that, right? And it's the decision is yours in terms of what direction you want to go in. So this last piece here, get to the next slide. For those of you who are ready to flex your LinkedIn muscles, you're ready to get out there and start connecting with COIs, there's a resource that I put together, which is a more in-depth, step-by-step training on how to connect with those COIs, building relationships, and expanding your firm reach. And you're going to find by using a lot of these strategies, you're going to start to get more exposure of your brand on LinkedIn, connecting with the right people, and being able to grow your client base. So in closing, just wanted to provide a few bits of information, and then we will open it up for Q&A. So I'm going to be participating in an upcoming panel for the Financial Planning Magazine on June 9th. It's going to be a web seminar on practice growth. So for those of you who are interested, absolutely, there's a link below. You can register directly. For those of you who want to get in touch with me, here is all of my contact information. You can set up a call, get your questions answered, you know, no obligation whatsoever, to just figure out kind of, you know, what you should be doing and how to start creating your own plan for development. As well as if we're not connected on LinkedIn, please reach out. Be happy to connect with you. So with that, I appreciate your attention today. I am going to turn it back over to Emily and get your questions answered.
Great. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I appreciated that content. It's not an area that I train or coach in, so I learned a few things as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it looks like we have two questions, one from Julie and one from George. And just as a reminder for the attendees, please go ahead and drop your last minute questions in the Q&A before we wrap up today's webinar. Okay, so question from Julie.
Yes.
For solo firms, should we create a separate LinkedIn page for our business?
That's a great question, Julie. I would say you can. I have one for my business as well. I'm going to tell you, you're probably going to get more engagement on your personal profile, but what you can do is you can leverage that business page and post content there as well, because people who are searching for a financial advisor businesses directly, your business profile may come up. And so that's a way that you can leverage both and then post content to both as well. That's a great question. I hope that answers your question.
Great. Yeah, Julie, you can ping us again if you want a little bit more information. And let's go to George's first question here in the chat box. Do you have a relationship with someone that can support building your personal and business LinkedIn profile, or is it something that you personally handle?
Yes, I have people that I work with that can help with building out a personal and as well as business profile. And so if you send me an email, happy to put you in touch with them. I do more of the strategic development, kind of the high level, but I have folks that I work with that kind of get in the weeds and actually can help you create that summary or that optimizing your profile. Yeah.
Great, thank you. I don't know if you would like to drop your email maybe quickly in the chat just so
Oh,
people
yeah.
have it. And I'll just let people know I also dropped in that link about scheduling your consultation or session link that you had shared a few slides ago. So that's now in the chat. And while you shoot over your email, if it's not too much trouble.
Nope, I'll do it right now.
We have
You're just
another
going to
question.
watch me type.
Yeah, there you go. We have another question from George and one more for Yves Mark before we end our webinar.
Okay. Okay, I got a couple of screens going on, guys. I got my laptop in front of me, and then I got two monitors to my right here.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go. Okay, so emails in the chat if you'd like to reach out to her directly. And let's go up to Eve's Mark's, that's plural, question up here. How do you like MailerLite? Looks like that's your platform for this email capture. And I believe he asked a similar question on a webinar a few weeks ago, and I'm not sure we really addressed it at that time. So anything you have to say about that would be very helpful.
Yeah, I actually love MailerLite. Super easy to use. I have the free version, and I've been able to create campaigns and automations in there with ease. I was using, I can't even remember who I was using before, but there was another platform that I was using. I think it was Constant Contact, and I didn't really like that interactive platform, but MailerLite has been great. So I highly recommend it. And again, I have the free version, and I've been able to do quite a bit with it.
Okay, great. And then one question, he says thank you, so that's great.
Ah, you're welcome.
One last question from George. Starting as a newer company with limited clients, would you recommend starting with a wider definition of your client, and then as you gather assets, start to better define?
Yep, I would absolutely do that, because the reality is you have bills and you're building a business and you're brand new. So your reach should absolutely be much wider, right? As you continue to build and add more clients, and as you grow, then you can become a little bit more selective in terms of who you work with. But just starting out, I absolutely recommend working with anyone who you feel comfortable working with and who absolutely wants to work with you. But also remember, and I found this out in my career working for different firms. Some clients that come through the door, they're more headache than the money they pay. So you want to spend some time in really getting to know those individuals. But in general, working with everyone who wants to work with you is a great strategy when you're first starting out.
I love that advice. Awesome. Okay, I don't see any other questions. Thank you so much for your time today. And I'm sure some of our members will reach out directly. I'll add your scheduling your session as well with the recorded webinar in case other members want to reach out as well.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Emily and XY Planning family community, thank you for allowing me to come. I hope this information was helpful. And as you continue to grow and figure out what's best for your practice, do reach out if I can help you answer any questions.
Thanks so much. This was awesome.
You're welcome. Have
Bye.
a good day. Bye.